Katie is a dear, sweet friend, quite possibly one of my wisest friends, truthfully, and I mean that really from the bottom of my heart. And for those of you that don't know her, I encourage you to get to know her, because if you know her, you will know what it is to love the Lord with all your heart and soul. Katie has 3 kids, Henry, Ollie, and Khaki, and has been at St. David's for 13 years. She has the biggest heart for the school, and we are honored for her to share her journey with us today. So without further ado, I would like to introduce you to Katie Koon.
Hello. All right, so beyond those very kind things, one thing that you all need to know, wait, I gotta get my glasses. One thing you all need to know about me is that I'm a staunch believer in I can't say it enough, and the deep healing and therapeutic powers of the karaoke. For it is only with a mic in one hand and Chicago, Adele, Axl, or Whitney playing in the background that one can truly understand what it means to be both all in and at the same time not take yourself too seriously. And I've decided that that is the secret sauce for parenting and for life. We must dig deep and fight the fight. We must love our kids and serve and discipline and disciple and shepherd and teach and cheer them on. Every bit of every day, we must be all in. But we have to do so knowing that at the same time, we have this great, big, crazy, creative God who is desperately in love with them. And he is writing a story for them that is much better than anything we could ever ask for or imagine. So though we must stay all in, mic in hand, we must do so knowing he's got it all in his hands. So with that, I've decided to play back some of my favorite karaoke-style lessons learned along my journey. Consider it a playlist for our collective road trip. 1, Just Breathe, my girl, Faith Hill. Your child will learn to read and multiply their 9s. The birthday party will be just fine without or with excessive goodie bags. They will find their people. They will go to college. It's going to happen. Just breathe. Take it easy. The Eagles. There is no rush. The parenting years often function as a freaky time warp where rushing ahead oddly robs us of time. Urgency in parenting is often a lie. There's no rush to join a team, to start an activity, to get a phone, to wear makeup. It's not too late to learn golf at age 11 and a half. There is no rush to go to spend the night camp. They will still be able to go to college and live in a dorm. Do not rush in pushing them out the door. Take it easy. My girl, T-Baby Swift, shake it off. Losses at age 10 and hurts in their teen years build resilience and compassion in their 20s. We do not want our kids to peak at age 12. We are gunning for successful 30-year-olds, godly 40-year-olds, not superstar preteens. They may get knocked down, but they will get up again. When you see the struggle coming, the knockdown, the hurt, hunker down and then shake it off. If you want to build a warrior, they must be seasoned by the battles along the way. My bad girl, Brittany. Oops, I did it again. Y'all can tell how old I am, right? As much as it hurts our pride, we must pray for our children to get caught. You cannot parent what you do not know. Pray that they will get busted, and then dig into the reason behind it. Ask the hard questions. Have the conversation about what is going on behind the thing. And while you're at it, pray that you get caught too. And all your freaky control issues, your vanity and your pride, your toxic need to control the narrative and create the ever-going Christmas card life. If you're anything like me, you will want to grab hold of all the issues, take them out of God's hands, and have a tug of war with the sovereign God of the universe over the life path of your child. When you feel the tension of perfection rising and the frenzy of finding fault, get down on your knees, say, oops, I'm so sorry, I did it again, ask for forgiveness, and start again. A Million Reasons, Lady Gaga. You are the parent. You own the phone, the Xbox, and the car. You pay the tuition, the registration fees, the tennis lessons. God birthed you first, many years before your child. You hold the cards. There are 1 million reasons you can give for punishing, setting boundaries, saying no. But when you bow down to pray to make the life a little bit better, the one good reason is that you are the parent. In fact, you are the perfect parent for your child. God says so. He gave your child to you. Dig deep. You've got this. But the number one hit for my parenting journey is actually not a song that I sing so much, but the story behind it is one that has truly shaped so much of my parenting journey and really my whole spiritual journey. And it was taught to me by Henry when he was about 4 years old. I love my boy. And we were on the beach, and I was with Henry and Ollie, and they were digging a hole. And usually they like to dig really big holes and sit in them and watch the waves come in. But this day, Henry wanted to dig a really deep hole. And he was working so hard, so intently, going deeper and deeper. And Ollie had lost all interest. He has the attention span of a gnat. And so he had moved on to torturing sand fiddlers and seagulls. But Henry kept digging. And I'll never forget it. He looked at me with these big blue eyes that he still looks at me with today. And he looked and he said, Mom, and I thought for sure he was going to say, I'm hungry, I'm tired, I've got sand in my pants, I've got sand in my eyes. Can we please go up to the house now? But he looked to me and he said, how much longer do you think until I reach God's hands? And that question, the significance of it, is not that he believed the words of the song that said God has the whole world in his hands. But the significance is that it changed the way he dug his hole. And if we can get our heads around that, it can change the way we live our lives, the way we parent. In fact, every single circumstance takes on a different hue, a different light, a different significance if we are truly looking at whose hands are holding it all, if we're truly digging for his hands. And it changes the way, especially I think, that we look at the harder things. And it's really easy for y'all that don't know me from forever to look at Henry now, this tall boy, this athlete, this scholar, and think, that must have been easy. Well, let me just say, no. It was not easy for him. It was not easy for me. And fun fact for everyone to know is that we did not get into St. David's when Henry first applied. He was waitlisted. And I kept watching all my friends get in, and I'm like, what's happening here? This is not the way the story's supposed to go. We're supposed to go to St. David's. He's supposed to get in. This is how it's supposed to get going. And ultimately, we did get into the school. And but then, just right off the bat, sweet Miss Crispmore and Kepke were like, yeah, it's not going so well. I mean, forget a B and a D, a 5 and an S. We couldn't get them the right ways. Word box words almost sent us down. I mean, math facts, forget about it. We have struggled with friends, athletics, academics. I have cried buckets of ugly, angry tears, and unfortunately, so many of you have been with me. There have been many days that I truly could not see my way forward as a mom. And all these kinds of things can send us on this odyssey of trying to fix, manipulate, orchestrate it so it's back to the pretty picture, back to the Christmas card. We just don't even want to deal with the struggle. But the lesson of God's hands is that we have this amazing invitation to dig a little deeper instead, to ask the question, in the midst of all this hard stuff, what is God doing here? One of my favorite questions in the midst of the I don't know stage is when you don't know the answer to this question, you don't know the answer to this question. There are several of us in the room who do not know where our kids are going to college in a matter of, and we need to know like now, right? There's this so many times where you just don't want to know and you start grasping at straws, but the questions we should be asking is, what is God doing here? If his hands really do hold it all, what is he doing? And right alongside that is, well, Lord, what do you want me to see here? Because if his hands are in everything, there's something for us to learn. There's something for us to see. One of my favorite prayers during these parenting years is from Psalm 130. And the message says it like this: I pray to God my life a prayer and watch for what he'll say and do. My life's on the line before God, waiting and watching for morning. Waiting and watching for morning. But there's some practical things that come out of just this life of living, digging, looking for his hands, wondering what he's up to. And the first is that we start to see that the hard things really are the best things because God's hands are in them, and he's using everything to build resilience, curiosity, creativity, independence. And if the college journey has taught me anything, it is not about where we are sending these kids. It is about who we are sending. Life's tougher lessons are invaluable in cultivating the character of the child you will one day be sending. And if God's hands are holding them in the meantime, they are in good hands indeed. And yet here I am with a senior who will one day go to college somewhere. And I have so much to celebrate. Henry has been shaped and molded by this school. He has been cheered for, poured into, encouraged, and disciplined. St. David's has been fertile ground for all our kids. It has provided teachers who have inspired a love of learning for learning's sake, spiritual mentors who have shaped our faith, coaches who have taught the bittersweetest of life's lessons. St. David stands above all else in the way they participate with Christ in the shaping of our kids. I am so deeply thankful for this school. But as I reflect on the years, how we started and where we now stand, and all the glory and the pitfalls in between, I can say only, what a God. Even in this place of great celebration, where I'm so proud of my son and who he is becoming, I'm all the more certain that it was all God. I am so grateful, because if it had been up to me, it would simply have been less. And God is always more. So in this swan song, our final countdown for our St. David's playlist, I can truly see, as Henry did way back when, that God's hands really do hold it all. His hands have been touching every bit of everything. So I guess my call to all of us is to be a collective group of karaoke parents who are willing to dig alongside one another, just below the surface of all the decisions and the questions and the hardships and the celebrations, encouraging each other every step of the way to keep digging, to keep asking, what do we need to see? What glory, what lesson, what gift? I pray our hearts would be filled with hopeful wonder as we head on our way to 4th grade, to 8th grade, to college, and beyond, that we would celebrate good times, endure the hard knocks of life, whether we are rolling in the deep or far from the shallows now. We would always remember that our God is with us, and he is the greatest love of all. He alone is our lucky star. And though we may feel we are nearing the borderline of our sanity, we can move bravely forward, knowing He is for us, and his great, big, creative, redeeming, and loving hands really do hold it all. To God be the glory. Amen.
Thank you, Katie. Do y'all see what I mean? To know her is to know what it is to love the Lord with all your heart and soul. Thank you, Katie. That was fabulous. So in closing, thank you all for being here today. You're